Hi, TheHande here. So some of you might remember that I used to have a series called the Couch Vlogs, which I used to film from my couch when I was talking about various different topics, and I even did a couple of top 10s. Well, unfortunately, you might have noticed that I haven't done a couch vlog in quite some time. And the reason was that the way I used to film those couch vlogs isn't really practical anymore. A lot of it has to do with this thing. This is the camera that I used to use on those couch vlogs. It's my old Nokia Lumia phone, which still has a very good camera and actually a much better microphone than my current phone. And the way I used to film those couch vlogs was literally, I have this piece of styrofoam, which I think is from the packaging for my Huawei LCD television that you might have seen in some of my really, really old videos. And literally, I would just perch the phone on here, and then I would stack books or DVDs or whatever the hell I happen to have lying around, so that it would be the right size. And then I would, make sure that the framing was okay, and then I would just, hit record, get on the couch, and then record it. But unfortunately, this Lumia phone has started to develop a flaw. Which you will see most evidently in the video that I did about old file formats and media players, where it has now started to go out of focus for no reason. And I still occasionally do this. I actually use this to film the most recent blind soda taste test video. But the thing that we do nowadays is that we make sure that there is somebody actually watching the view of the video at the same time. And no, this phone was already so old that it didn't have a front camera, so I can't film stuff in a way that I could actually see myself while filming it. And also, unfortunately, that old couch is no more. I actually bought a new couch this summer, so the old green couch has gone off to greener pastures. I do feel a little sad about that because I actually did genuinely like the color, but it had started to get kind of worn out, and I started to think that I should get a new one. Also, it was quite heavy. There used to be an entire bed inside of it, and I thought getting a new couch would make things easier when I was inevitably going to have to move, but that plan didn't quite pan out. Anyway, the point of this video is that in my old couch vlogs, you might have seen a whole bunch of different posters hanging around in the background, and some of those posters are ones that I always hang up when I move into a new apartment. Some I don't anymore, but I wanted to, in this video, showcase some of the stuff that you might have seen in the backgrounds of those couch vlogs. And yeah, my current living room is so tiny that filming a couch vlog on it wouldn't be much fun anyway. And in this video, I'm going to give you a rundown of some of the posters that you have definitely seen in the backgrounds of some of my videos where they are currently in my apartment. And I will also tell some background stories about how I got those posters, and also a little bit of background information on what they represent. Now, the reason to even put up posters or anything on walls is specifically because a long time ago, I saw this video by the Vlog Brothers. I don't remember which one of them. The point being that putting up posters or paintings, or really any kind of ornaments, actually eases off stress and makes you staring at like blank walls is apparently very stressful, so it's good to have something on the walls. Now, firstly, I actually wanted to show off these things. These are some of my consoles, and the ones that I put up on the bookcases here are the ones that I don't currently have hooked up to anything, so which means that I'm not currently playing them, and these are kind of haphazardly put here for various reasons. You might wonder why I have two PlayStation 2s. Well, the reason is that this top one doesn't actually work. Well, it does turn on, it just doesn't read the discs. And right now, I used to have more books kind of here at the top, but they were kind of a pain in the butt to have. But I have this one, it's a He-Man book of He-Man comic strips I got as a Christmas present. So the first big poster to really talk about is this one. It's the Dragon Ball Z poster you might have seen in a few couch vlogs. So Dragon Ball is a very popular Japanese cartoon and comic. which came out originally in the late 80s and early 90s. The cartoon is divided into two parts. Dragon Ball Z is the latter half and focuses on this guy, Goku, when he's an adult. And the original Dragon Ball then focuses on him when he's a little kid. And Dragon Ball Z is one of my favorite animes. I have the entire series on DVD. And it's basically like a martial arts sci-fi series with a lot of crazy things. So it's about Goku and some of these other characters defending the Earth from alien threats and also some supernatural stuff. And the Dragon Balls are kind of like a MacGuffin that often plays into the stories as well. And this particular ensemble of characters is from season 4 of the series, which is the Android Saga. So some of the notable characters, you can tell this from the hairstyles of these two characters, Yamcha and then Gohan, who's Goku's son. And actually, the same character is actually here twice. The purple-haired guy is there. It's Trunks, the time-traveling son of Bulma and Vegeta, and there's baby Trunks with Bulma. So this poster for many years was actually on my little brother's playroom door. For many years, it was there. They're currently now in their mid to late teens. So, and then at some point, this poster also migrated to my younger sister's front door. And as you can probably tell, it has unfortunately, it has seen better days. It's a bit scuffed up. And unfortunately, one of the most frustrating things, and you'll see this with another poster, is that if you look into the corner, you can see that there's some residue. So, as far back as I can remember, we have always hung up stuff using blue tack. And blue tack is good if you want to hang something on a wall temporarily, like a note or something. The smoke alarm in my last apartment, I was actually having to keep it on the ceiling with blue tack because it had a base that was screwed onto the ceiling, but it had broken off. One of the legs had broken off, so it wasn't connecting properly. So I used blue tack to keep it on. But the problem is, the longer you keep the blue tack, eventually it'll start to ooze this kind of residue, especially on paper. And this was on the wall for many years using that blue tack. I now use kind of Scotch tape with the sticky side on the outside in a loop. And depending on the size of the poster, I'll at least put it in the corners, somewhere in the halfway points, and top of the bottom, sometimes also in the middle. It really depends like how the air circulates in the room, because sometimes the Scotch tape might come loose. But yeah, I really like this poster. I really like this ensemble of characters, and I like Dragon Ball, so that's why I like having this poster around. Okay, and this is a big cloth poster that my sister bought many years ago. It's of these characters from Azumanga Daioh, which is again it's a Japanese comic and anime, but unlike Dragon Ball, this was a comic strip. And the entire comic strip was released in Finland in 4 volumes. Later, I actually have that, and I also have a box set of the anime as well. And it's kind of like it kind of popularized this genre called slice of life anime, and it's still to this day one of my favorite slice of life animes. One of the very few anime videos I unfortunately have up anymore is actually my top 10 favorite episodes from this series. And so these are this character complement. Actually, this is kind of like about halfway through the series, because Kagura is there. She joins. So the series, it's nothing special. It's mostly like comedy stuff, very episodic, and it's about the entire series just takes place over the high school period that these girls attend. So there's Sakaki, Kagura, Yomi, Tomo, and then Osaka, not her real name. She's called that because she's from Osaka. And then Chio, who's a child prodigy who enters high school at age 10 because she's so smart, and lots of shenanigans happen. It's a really fun series. Actually, lots of super old YouTube videos are of Azumanga Daioh. People used to do music videos and joke videos about this all the time. And I guess because it was, at the time, relatively new, it had its start in the early 2000s, but then it took off in other countries in the mid-2000s, really. And there's particularly one really funny Strong Bad parody with it's a music video of The system is down. Yeah. And yeah, so this is a big honking poster. I always like having this around. As you can tell, I've had to nail a hook to the wall in order to keep it up so it doesn't like stay. And actually, again, my sister got this, and we had nowhere in our childhood home to actually hang this. So it was just in a box for a very long time, or just sitting around in the corner. And then when I moved out, I just took it with me, and I've had it up in my apartment ever since. Here's a tiny cardboard poster of Star Trek: The Original Series. It's my favorite version of Star Trek. I have the entire series on DVD. I mean, it's only 3 seasons, so it's not really that hard. And I love this Star Trek: The Original Series. Absolutely my favorite. And Star Trek series. I love the movies as well. And the reason to love it is because of the cast. My sister got this for me from some con specifically. So somewhere in 2017-ish or thereabouts. So you have Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Uhura, Chekhov, so Sulu, and then Mr. Scott, and yeah. The thing I love about Star Trek is that it's a series that is actually very ahead of its time. The writing is really good, especially during season one. And but it cracks me up because the show it was done on a television budget in the 60s, so it never stops cracking me up that the guys are basically flying in a spaceship that's made out of plywood. All right, and I always have to have. I don't think I've had this poster specifically in the background of any video. Maybe in one of the ones that I did in the last couple of years, you might see like a glimpse of it. Right now, this is on my bathroom door. But I always like to have some video game related stuff in the background. And so this is not technically a poster. This is actually an advertisement for Nintendo 64 games. And based on the way that it's folded, I believe this came with a Game Boy game. Although I think they might have folded it like this. I'm really guessing based on the fact that it's in like rectangles. But yeah, the N64 is my favorite console. I have played, I think, most of these games. Well, except I don't think I've played this one. I've played some Bomberman, but I'm not sure it's this one on the N64. And then Mischief Makers, I don't think I've ever played that one. But the rest of these familiar titles from the system, I really love them. Oh yeah, there's Lilith Wars, which tells you that this is a European poster and not an American one. And lastly, we have the Sonic the Hedgehog poster here. You might have seen this in some very old videos of mine. It used to be up in my room in a spot that where you could barely see it. And you can tell that this was actually gone around the same time as that Dragon Ball Z poster. The art is, in the style of these characters as they were rendered in Sonic Adventure 1. But the poster, I think, was done in the early to mid 2000s. And I've always really liked this one. I like Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh yeah. There were some 2018 videos. I think this was also it was in the dividing wall between the hallway and the kitchen in one of my apartments. And just like the Dragon Ball Z poster, unfortunately, it doesn't show up nearly as badly, but it does have a little bit of darkened residue from blue tack when it used to be up on the wall. And these days, I think in this room particularly, the airflow is pretty aggressive, so I've had to put a lot of Scotch tape on the back of these. And what I do when I move out, inevitably, I'm going to have to, take the Scotch tape off because it's the sticky side outside. I just cut the loop of the Scotch tape, and then I just let it rest on the back of the posters. There's already quite a layer of Scotch tape at the back of this, and really, there's no way of, unfortunately, like, restoring these or anything. But, I could maybe put this inside a frame, but as you can see, it's pretty badly bent. I don't know at what point I did that. I really shouldn't have. I should have just kept it rolled, so it would have at least protected it some. But anyway, I really like having this poster right now. It's currently in my bedroom, where actually I shot the intro, but it was just off camera to the right. Okay, and one last addition, because originally I wasn't going to feature these because I didn't think these showed up in any of my old videos, but actually I forgot that, yes, when I used to film very early videos, these were, of course, on the back wall against where you used to see these. Okay, so these 4 drawings were made by my sister Minna. and actually it shows the date there, 2009. So my sister may not drew these pictures, but these characters were actually created by me for a comic book that was called Avatar. I think it was called the Avatar of the Gods or something. I don't quite remember. It's been very, very long time. I still have that comic lying around somewhere. But I never really finished it. I got very far, and so what these four characters are. These are elemental goddesses that were characters, and the main character was a kind of elf dude who was on a quest for some god who was trying to basically stop the apocalypse. You know, the usual shtick. And so these gods are all based on different elements. There's earth, water, fire, and then wind. I kind of wish that this one Gaia would have had a little bit more shading on her, because the joke with her was, of course, that she never wore clothes, but that was because she was literally made out of dirt. So she was like all like brown and blackish, but she has a little her little detail is the little flower in her hair. And this is Aqua, and she has water powers and this kind of vaguely, I guess, toga-ish design. And then there's Fuego. I wasn't very imaginative with the name Fire Goddess, bit of a badass. And then Errol, who's like the least. She's like kind of like a nice big sister character basically in the comic. That's pretty much her bit in that. But yeah, and unfortunately, yes, again, you can see that these used to be attached with blue tack, which is why you can see residue, unfortunately, in the corners. It seems like I attached all of these the same way. There's two at the top and then one at the bottom. And that's unfortunate because, like I said, it's impossible to get that blue tack residue out. Well, I hope you enjoyed that slightly different video from me. Tell me, are there any posters and things that you like to always hang in your apartments or dens to make things look cozier for yourself? Leave that in the comments down below. I'm Hanno the Hande Mäkinen. See you on the next one.